What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ben on Sports. And do you guys hear that? The NFL season. It's quickly approaching. Oh, the NFL season. It's here. And you know what that means? Not only am I going to give you a short preview of some things, uh, tell you who I like to win the title, my favorites, but I'm also bringing back the weekly prediction series for the 2025-2026 season. And I'll talk, if you remember last year, predicted every single game, all 272 games of the NFL season. Going to do the same thing this year. And we have even made our goals more lofty. So without further ado, the best time of year is here. It's fall, it's football season. Let's get into this NFL preview. I want to get right into the predictions today, folks. Hope you're okay with that. Thursday Night Football, the defending, reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, hosting the Cowboys at home as 7.5-point favorites. Well, I'll just put it this way. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be all that close. I know the Cowboys fans want to have a rebound year, and they feel like that offense is going to be cooking, but this Eagles defense is really good. And the Eagles offense is still really good. And the Cowboys just lost their generational defensive player because their owner/GM is an absolute idiot. So I don't foresee a way where the Cowboys consistently get stops. And with that being said, I think the Eagles could win and win big. And the celebration will be a good one in Philly. Here are some keys to the game, something new I'm adding this year to the prediction series. I don't want to add too much time to the episodes, but I do want to give you guys or share with you guys how I see these games going. And for the Eagles, get the run game going. On offense, the run game is the straw that stirs the drink. You have Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and you have quite a few good receivers, a good tight end. But when they get that run game going, Jalen Hurts gets under center, and that fantastic offensive line opens up the run lane for Saquon. And if you can't stop that, well, guess what's coming? They're going to keep running it right at you. And then you're going to start stacking the box. And then they have a great group of pass catchers headlined by A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith that are going to beat you in the play action game. For the Eagles, it is imperative to get the run game going. And I don't think they're going to have a problem with it this week. But that's usually going to be a number one key to the game for the Eagles. Rush the passer early and often. In my mind, the Cowboys' best chance is that Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens finds a way to just score enough points and throw the ball around. I don't think the Eagles have too much weaknesses on their team, and their secondary was good last year. But if there's one point where I'm worried about the Eagles, it is still the secondary a little bit, especially covering two great wide receivers. But if they can get to that passer, they can get to Dak Prescott and put the pressure on. I think that will negate a lot of issues that they could potentially have or may not have. And then for the Eagles, use the moment. You're kicking off the NFL season. Headlines been made about Nick Sirianni's not going to let his team be out there for the banner ceremony, but the fans are still going to be there for it. The fans are still going to be rowdy. It is Philly. They're going to be in celebration mode. Use the moment. Don't get caught up in it and be like, oh, we're the champs, we're celebrating, which is exactly what I think Sirianni's trying to avoid. But use that crowd and use that raucous environment to fuel you, to push you forward in this game, especially against your rival. And for the Cowboys, they're going to need to score. I don't think this defense is stopping the Eagles' offense a whole heck of a lot. And so if you're the Cowboys, you're going to need to score a lot of points. Dak Prescott, Dallas offense, it's on you. You have to attempt to win the line of scrimmage. On both ends, the Eagles, why are they so good? They are built well in the trenches, the most important part of a football team. You can argue that winning the line of scrimmage, I know that I have it quite a few other places the rest of the way, but it is such a critically important thing. You have to stop the Eagles' run game, at least draw even, and then maybe you have a chance. And you're going to have to tamp down this pass rush in order to score. And then, again, as part of winning the line of scrimmage, you need to stop the run. If if the Cowboys just get absolutely worked in the trenches on the offense and defensive end, they stand no chance. I guess that's a thing for a lot of teams, but the Eagles are definitely a physical team that has the talent everywhere else that's going to just take off and blow you out quickly if you can't do those things. And I don't think the Cowboys will be able to do it most of the night. Maybe they do it for a little bit, but I think the Eagles are going to win this game, and they're going to win it comfortably. Friday night football, is something that's very new. In Brazil, Friday night. Technically, the Chargers are the home team, but when you're in Brazil, is either team really the home team? It is a top 5 game of the week in my mind. Hence why I have the star there. The Chargers and the Chiefs, 2 playoff teams from last year, 2 teams that play close games. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. Remember, guys at home, if you're trying to watch this game is on YouTube, and I believe it should be available to everybody. Chargers are an up-and-coming team. I love the fact that they went and they got a stud running back, a bell cow running back, and they also, signed a veteran. And Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball first, set up the play action. The Chiefs, I think, have some more question marks, but I think they're going to be back with a vengeance after losing the Super Bowl the way they did last year. I think that they might surprise some people. They definitely should make the playoffs. They still have Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes, I think for his standards, had a down year last year. I think he could be out to prove some people wrong this year. Just look out. Keys to the game. Chargers need to get pressure on Mahomes. If you give Mahomes time to throw, he's going to beat you. Even without Rashee Rice, I think the Chiefs still have enough weapons where Mahomes is going to be able to find some guys. I think Mahomes will slice up the secondary if that pass rush is not working. Chargers need to get to Mahomes, make him feel their presence. They also need to get the run game going, right? This is what they want to do. I think their offense, I don't think, works nearly as well if they have to sit there and throw the ball all the time. They need to get the run game working. They need to out-physical the Chiefs' defensive line. The other thing the run game does, it really helps you chew the clock. It's hard to get blown out if you're able to hold on to the ball and make the other team's offense sit on the sideline, and I think that's going to be crucial for the Chargers winning this game. Dominating time of possession with the run game. And keep Herbert upright. If you have the run game going, it's obviously going to help with this. But the Chiefs have a really good defensive coordinator. Might dial up some pressure. They still have Chris Jones, have some good pass rushers on the edge. When you do decide to go to play action, or when you do decide to drop back and throw the ball, keep Herbert upright. You get behind the sticks on this defense, and I think bad things will begin to happen. But again, the run game will help with both of these points. Keys to the game. Chargers, I think their pass rush should be a little bit even better this year. They had a solid defense last year. Keep them off of Mahomes. Let Mahomes dissect this defense. Again, I think Mahomes has something to prove this year. Let him prove it. Stuff the run. Chiefs need to stuff the run. Again, I think the Chargers offense just, without the run game, I think it will struggle. And if the Chiefs are able to stuff it, I think it makes it a lot more difficult for the Chargers to keep the ball, a lot more difficult for them to score. And figure out who the go-to target is. Is it Xavier Worthy? Is it Brown? Is Kelsey going to have a resurgent season? Are we going to get the ball to the running back? Again, Rashee Rice not in this game. Maybe he becomes the go-to. Mahomes needs a guy that he can just throw the ball, trust to throw the ball to. Who is that going to be this year? I have the Chiefs winning this game and clicking on more facets than the Chargers this early in the season. We're into the Sunday games, 1 o'clock in New Orleans. The Saints are hosting the Cardinals as 6.5-point home dogs. And I'll go ahead and spoil it. I think I'm picking the Cardinals to win this game. I don't trust anybody in the Saints quarterback room. You saw how bad not that Derek Carr is an average replacement level quarterback, sometimes can play really, really well. You saw how this offense has looked with him and without him recently. This offense could be really, really bad. I think this defense is average to maybe slightly above average. They've been okay in recent years, but they can't hold everybody to 10 or less points, which is where I feel like this offense is capable of scoring, at least against a team like the Cardinals. I think this should be Cardinals early and often. I'll quickly go through the keys of the game. I was just saying, taking pressure off the defense, right? The defense can't hold everybody down, especially if they're on the field for a long time. The offense needs to find a way to move the ball. And may I suggest getting a run game going? Uh, you got to. I know Spencer Rattler starting. I haven't loved what I've seen from Spencer Rattler in the early returns of his NFL career. Do you let Show, I forget, I can never say it correctly. You give him a shot. Which quarterback can move the ball with the Saints offense to take pressure off the defense? And you got to stop Kyler Murray from scrambling. They already have a good run game in Arizona. They already have plenty of weapons in the pass game. You can't let Kyler Murray start using his legs, because then how are you stopping him? And for Cardinals, you're going to be playing a young, inexperienced quarterback. Make life hard on him. Pressure him. Don't pressure them. Mix up your looks. Try and use a lot of pre-snap movement and communication. Just try and throw it off. Make it hard so it's hard for them to throw the ball, right? Balanced offensive attack. You don't want to – that's just every NFL team standard stuff, right? If you run the ball all the time, the Saints are good enough defense to stop it. If you throw the ball all the time, I think the Saints are good enough to stop it. I am a little bit worried about the Saints secondary, but just use a balanced attack. And use mismatches. They're going to be on the field on both ends, I think. Find the mismatch and just attack it. Make the Saints stop it. I think Cardinals are coasting in this game, starting off 1-0. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Lucas Oil Stadium. The Colts, -1.5 against the Dolphins. What an interesting Week 1 game. Colts have not won a Week 1 game since, 2013, 2014? It's been a super long time. And this is a Miami team looking to rebound from what they view as a down year last year. We'll see if that's a down year or closer to the standard. This is two teams that just missed the playoffs last year and have ideas of making it. But I don't know, guys. I'll go ahead and flip to my keys of the game here, but I'll just say this general thought. A healthy Miami team, in my mind, is a heck of a lot better than a healthy Indianapolis team. And Week 1, Miami is supposed to be 100% healthy. Indianapolis escaped at home last year with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. I don't know how you can have the Colts favored in this one. Again, Miami the last couple of years can't stay healthy, led by the chief perpetrator being their starting quarterback. But this Miami team is healthy. I don't know how this Colts team is favored. I actually like Miami to win this game outright and somewhat comfortably, assuming everybody stays healthy. But let's get into the keys of the game. For the Colts, Daniel Jones, yeah, maybe he's shown flashes of being an okay quarterback. I still don't know if he's that guy. He is in a new place. Maybe that helps. But really, you want this offense to go through Jonathan Taylor. Let him try and run wild all over this defense. The front seven for Miami is the strength of their defense. That secondary, much talked about, not very good. But make them use extra guys to stop Taylor. Get that run game working. Make them stack the box. And then that secondary is going to be even more stressed when you go into play action. Win the line of scrimmage on defense. Miami, again, Mike McDaniel has said he wants to run the ball first. Make them become one-dimensional, and then let your pass rushers go get Tua. This offensive line, a lot of people in Miami are talking about it's supposed to be good, but it is new. This defense could, fastest way to shut down this Miami offense that's supposed to be high-powered, just win the line of scrimmage. Don't let them run the ball, get after the quarterback. And you need to keep – Miami has a great pass rush, arguably the best group of edge rushers in the NFL. Keep it away from Daniel Jones in his first start. Turnovers are much less likely to happen that way. You won't get behind the sticks. That's kind of your key to winning, I think. Miami, in 2024, when they were really, really good, or 2023 into 2024, when they almost won the division, they ran the ball really, really well. That's when that offense was at its best. Raheem Mostert set a franchise record for touchdowns. They need to get back to running the dang ball. If you can't run the ball, you can't win in the NFL. The new offensive line, to help with that, they need to step up. 2 super young guys on the left side, a new starting right guard, a new starting left tackle and left guard, a first and second year player over there. The center and the right tackle have been here for multiple years, especially the right tackle, Austin Jackson. But what is this brand new offensive line going to look like? Can it step up and just be good enough to keep this offense on pace? If it can, look out and help the secondary out. You don't want to have to take guys off the field, corners off the field, or move the safeties down. You need to give those young guys, those inexperienced corners, help. And so you need to stop the run using your front seven without needing extra safety help. And you need to get to the quarterback quicker. The shorter amount of time you have to cover, the better you're going to be. So if they can get consistent pressure against a pretty good offensive line for the Colts, I think if Miami can figure that out, it's going to help their secondary out loads. And again, I like Miami to win this. Out of all the teams who are technically betting underdogs, I think Miami's my lock to win. If I had to pick an upset, but I also think the line is shifting while I'm recording this towards Miami, so we'll see. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Gillette Stadium in New England. The Patriots, 2.5-point favorites over the Raiders. And this is a battle of teams that have ideas and designs of being much better this year than they were last year. And both teams have a new head coach. Both teams with good head coaches, with the Patriots getting Mike Vrabel and the Raiders getting Pete Carroll. What are the keys to this game? Well, if you're New England, you got to get Vrabel, and really the Raiders, both of them, right? My point number one is, which team is more comfortable in the new system first? Who can implement the way that the new coaching staff wants to play football the fastest? Whichever team is more comfortable in that has a huge advantage to winning this game. If you're the Patriots, you traded for Diggs, but who's the number one wide receiver? Diggs was having just an okay year last year. Probably the worst year of his career last year, even though it wasn't awful, before he got hurt with it's a very serious injury. Diggs is back. Can he be Drake May's number one? Does it have to be somebody like Pop Douglas? Who is it going to be? Because you have a new quarterback. You want to keep him upright, right? He was under pressure with a bad offensive line all last year. You used a high pick to address it. So not only do you need to keep May upright, but you got to find who he's going to throw the ball to. I think this defense is going to be better and okay. Vrabel has proven he can have a good defense and game plan well. But can they keep May upright, and can they find the go-to guy for Drake May? And if you're the Raiders, establish young weapons. You got a Sean Genty and you got Brock Bowers, right? Two young guys, fresh legs seemingly in a sense. Establish those weapons with your new quarterback and find a defensive identity. I think the Raiders defense the last couple of years, they've been in the playoffs, they've been out of the playoffs, they've been everywhere, up and down the standings. I think they need to find the defensive identity and stick to it. I think they've been lacking one. They still have Crosby rushing the passer, but I think they have a lot of question marks in other areas. How as well will this team be defensively? And that'll go a long way towards the success they may or may not have this season. MetLife Stadium on Sunday, the Jets hosting the Steelers. The Steelers, 2.5-point road favorites. I think this could be a defensive battle, and this is actually the lowest total point in the NFL this week in 16 games at 38.5. So the Vegas odds makers think this is going to be the lowest scoring game. And I don't hate that take. I think both of these defenses are more ready to go than the offenses are. Two teams that would have dreams of making the playoffs. I don't know if either one will. But if you're the Jets, you had Robert Saleh, who had that defense working well. After he got fired, I think that defense was a little bit more shaky to end last year, but you still have a lot of those really good pieces. You got to get that defense playing dominant again if you want to be a good team. This team was built around the defense. Help get that defense back to that high level. Justin Fields, right? Make it easy for Justin Fields. You have good weapons on offense, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall to start. You still have some guys from that Rodgers brought in that are supposed to be good. Make it easy for Fields. Don't make it too complicated. If he has to use his legs a little bit, he has to use his legs a little bit. But get him in a rhythm early. Fields is a guy now on his third team since getting drafted not that long ago. It's funny, these teams actually kind of swapped quarterbacks from last season. Get Fields comfortable early. Don't make it too difficult. Let him use those young playmakers as the third key that I just mentioned. Get Rodgers and DK acclimated. If this is 5 years ago, DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers together, that's a scary 1-2 combination. I think it still can be, even if both guys are getting older. Figure out a way to get that connection going strong, even if you're using the run game to set it up. I still personally think Rodgers has some left in the tank, and I still think Metcalf has the physical tools to be an elite wide receiver. Get those guys going early and let them really, really coalesce as the year goes on. You need to keep Fields from using his legs. Make him stay in that pocket. I mean, the Steelers know what Fields is capable of. He was just on their team last year, played some games for him, won some games for him, but it is so hard to stop two-dimensional quarterbacks, guys that can run the ball and throw the ball well. Don't let Fields run it. Trust that your defense, trust in your coverage, trust that you can get to the quarterback and just dominate the line of scrimmage. You want to make it difficult on Fields, make the Jets throw the ball. Don't let them run the ball. Take advantage of the Jets' offensive line and dominate the line of scrimmage. If there's a team that's capable of doing it, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is a close one. I think it's low scoring and ugly, but I just trust the Steelers. I trust Mike Tomlin, and I think I trust the Steelers offense to coalesce a little bit more than the Jets. So I think the Steelers win an ugly, low scoring game here to start the season. Sunday, 1 o'clock, the newly named Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland, right outside of D.C. The Commanders are 6.5-point favorites over the Giants. Let's get into some keys to the game. If you're the Commanders, the offense ended the season last year on an absolute roll. You want to let them keep rolling. Keep keep that offense humming, keep doing the same thing it was doing last year, and you should be able to score plenty of enough points with Jayden Daniels and the other weapons he has around him. Again, this is a really old team, but on defense, they're going to have to let the old heads cook. The oldest team in the NFL is the Commanders. I know you look at them and you're like, oh, but their quarterback is young. Well, he's a second-year player, but he's not all that young. Remember, he spent a long time in college. That's part of the reason why. But and mostly everywhere else on this team, it's pretty old. That's one of my biggest concerns about this Commanders team coming in the year is just how old this team is. But let them cook on defense. Let the old heads cook. They have experience. That they should know what they're doing. Let them take care of business and make the Giants' offense one-dimensional. If I'm the Commanders, I kind of maybe want the Giants to try and lean on the run game. I know they have Russell Wilson you're supposed to be starting over Jackson Dart. Either way, I want to make the Giants' offense one-dimensional. I mean, Malik Nabers is their best weapon on offense, and just don't let Malik Nabers get the ball, right? Take away that whole part of their passing attack and make it difficult on them to move the ball. I think the Commanders do, and even if the Giants score a little, I don't think they can score enough to keep up with the Commanders. I think the Commanders win this one, and they win it quite easily. If you're the Giants, you want to do the same thing that I just said for the Commanders. You want to make the Commanders one-dimensional. Don't let them run the ball on you if you're going to let them pass it on you, or if they're going to run the ball, don't let them throw it around the yard on you. You have to take away something, make a commitment before the game starts. We're going to not let them run the ball. We're going to keep Jayden Daniels in the pocket, not let him use his legs, and make him beat us throwing the ball. And I think that is the best way to stop this Commanders offense. Stop the run game, both from the quarterback and the traditional style run game. Make Jayden Daniels a pocket passer and see if he can beat you. And part of keeping Jayden Daniels in the pocket, tie together this pass rush. Now, some quarterbacks in the NFL that are dual threat have proven that they can beat you from the pocket. Chiefly Lamar Jackson, I would put at the top of that list. Some guys historically have struggled, though. When you have a pass rush for the Giants and you're trying to get after Jayden Daniels, you cannot leave gaps in the defensive line. You have to collapse together on Jayden Daniels or he will escape from the pocket. If you have a left end that gets too aggressive going upfield trying to get to him, well, if the other end gets there and one of the tackles gets there, you're going to have a big gap between the end and the defensive tackle, and he's just going to be able to use his speed and agility to get right through that gap. And then he's using his legs and improvising, which is not what you want to happen. So tie together this pass rush, close up the gaps, and collapse on the quarterback as one, not leaving him an escape route. And find Nabers early and often. If you're going to throw the ball, you need to find Malik Nabers. You saw what he was capable of when the Giants upset the Colts at the end of the year last year. Let Malik Nabers eat. He's an absolute weapon. He's a stud of a wide receiver. Get the ball to him and let him win you football games. Again, I think the Commanders still win this one comfortably. My toilet bowl game of the week that I'm not going to spend too much time on, the Jaguars and the Panthers. I think both of these teams have better records than last year. I think both of them will be better. But I also think that this is probably the matchup with the lowest combined wins at the end of the season. Jacksonville at home, 3.5-point favorites. Let's get into the keys to the game. Lawrence needs to find a way to get comfortable. I feel like every time he starts making headway into being what he was supposed to be as a quarterback, something happens, whether it's an injury like last year with that dirty hit or whatever it is, and he just it's like one step forward, two steps back sometimes with Trevor Lawrence. Find a way to get him comfortable in this offense. Make the Panthers throw the ball. I think the Panthers are at their most successful, or at least they were last year. Like, Bryce Young absolutely made strides forward to the end of last season. I think Bryce Young will continue that progression. But it makes it a lot more difficult on them when they can't run the ball. I think they're at their best when they are letting Chuba Hubbard take a lot of carries and run the ball. You let the Panthers run the ball, it's going to open up the rest of their offense. Stop the run game from the Panthers if you're the Jaguars, and keep Young under pressure. Again, got better towards the end of last year, but the first 2 years of his career have still been not necessarily great. If you stop that run game and you get him under constant pressure, I do think this Panthers offense folds and you can win the game on the back of your defense. If you're the Panthers, you have to get the run game going. It makes it easier on Bryce Young. And then you have to find out who your number one receiver is. Is it Leggett? Is it Ted McMillan? Who's the guy that Bryce Young can say, you know what? I got 2.5 seconds to get rid of this ball because the blitz is coming. I got this guy. I'm just going to throw it to him and trust that he's going to come down with the ball one-on-one. Who is that wide receiver for the Panthers this year? Can it be Ted McMillan, their first-round draft pick? Let's find out. And stay ahead of schedule. What's the best way to help a young quarterback who had struggled for a while and is just now starting to get comfortable? Don't put him in second and third and long situations. Keep him ahead of the sticks. And again, getting the run game going will be a large help with that. Or even if it's just hitting, quick little out and slants that gets you 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. That is a way to win football games. Just stay moving forward. I feel like I saw guys like Tom Brady do that his whole career. Take the deep shot when it's there, but if not 5 yards of play, you're still going to score a touchdown, right? So just stay ahead of schedule if you're the Panthers. Who do I have winning this game? I think this is going to be a battle between two teams that kind of have a resurgence this year. I think the Jaguars in particular can threaten to win their division. I think these teams fall around somewhere in that 7-9 win range. But I think the Jaguars get off to the better start. They'll be at home. And I have a little bit more trust on both sides of the ball in the Jaguars than I do the Panthers. Jaguars to win this game, even don't think it's going to be a huge blowout. Probably 10 or less points is what I personally am feeling for this. AFC North divisional battle, the Battle of Ohio, Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cleveland at home, but they are 4.5-point underdogs, and for understandable reasons. Let's get into the keys of the game. Is Flacco still good enough? He's starting the game for the Browns. I don't know how long he'll be the starting quarterback. They have two rookies for a reason. But is Flacco still good enough to lead this team to wins? He led them to the playoffs not that long ago. This Cleveland offense still has some weapons. But as point number 3 suggests, who are they? You have Njoku. Who do you have out of the backfield that you trust? Which wide receivers do you trust? And I think you'd rather have Flacco trying to figure that out, an experienced vet, than a young quarterback. And take advantage of a weak offensive line. This Browns pass rush has been good. Obviously, it's spearheaded by Myles Garrett. I think the Browns' defense line is better than the Bengals' offensive line. If the Browns have any chance of winning this game, their defensive line is going to have to dominate Cincinnati and their offensive line. They're going to have to get Burrow on the ground. They're going to have to put him behind the sticks. If they can't do that, I think this gets ugly quick and early. If you're the Bengals, well, how do you keep Burrow upright? You keep Burrow upright. Usually good things are going to happen. Keep the Browns out of the end zone. I mean, the Bengals defense has been very, very up and down the last couple years. The last time they had just an average defense, they made the Super Bowl. Keep the Browns out of the end zone. I don't think the Browns are going to be able to keep the Bengals from getting to at least that 24-plus range. The Bengals, if the Browns offense has trouble, eventually that defense is going to get tired. So just keep the Browns out of the end zone. Don't make yourself have to score a whole bunch of points like you usually do. And use your wide receivers. If you're able to keep Burrow upright, I think T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, excuse me, most of this receiving group should be more than okay against the Browns secondary. Use them. You're paying Higgins and Chase. You might as well use them. I think if you keep Burrow upright and you go to them early and often, I think you should win this game. I think the Bengals win this game comfortably, but I am a little bit worried about the Browns pass rush. Kind of throwing a wrench in that. But the much safer bet is the Bengals, and I think the Bengals win this game, and I think they should cover. Top 5 game of the week, Falcons and Buccaneers in Atlanta. Tampa Bay is 2.5-point favorites on the road, and I don't always love that. This Tampa Bay team really, really came together at the end of last year. They were a really, really good team down the stretch last year. Made the playoffs, ran down the Falcons in the division after the Falcons couldn't get anything to go right for them, it felt like. Falcons are starting a young quarterback, not a rookie anymore, and Michael Penix Jr. What are some keys to the game? Let Penix use his weapons. Look, if you want to make things easier on a young quarterback, have good weapons that are quick release valves. You have Bijan Robinson. You have Drake London. Kyle Pitts, are we still believing in him? He could be a weapon. He has the athletic ability to be. If you're the Falcons, find ways to utilize your skill position players to help your young quarterback out. On defense, they need to take away the pass game. Baker Mayfield has proved a lot of people wrong in his time in Tampa Bay. He's really resurrected his career, had an incredible year last year. So what do they do to make their team better? They already have Mike Evans. They have Chris Godwin, who may be able to contribute a little bit. They had McMillan that really came on strong down the stretch last year. You have Bucky Irving out of the backfield as a good weapon. So what do? They go out and get one of the best college pass catchers and Emeka Egbuka to add to this already really, really good offense. You got to take away the pass game. Make them run the ball on the ground to beat you. And again, part of letting Penix use weapons, I think you just have to let Bijan. I spelled it like Dijon Mustard because I think it's funny. Yes, I know that it is an A, not an O. But you have to make Bijan Robinson stop you, or make that run until they say, you know what, we're not letting Bijan Robinson go. And then guess what? You have Drake London in single coverage over the top, right? Make them stop Bijan Robinson and even Tyler Allgeier for that point. Kind of to give him a break. If you're the Bucs, you need to let Baker Mayfield cook. He did it last year, and it worked out really well for you. Let Baker Mayfield use this embarrassing riches of pass catchers to take advantage. I'm a little bit worried about Atlanta's secondary. I was big on Atlanta last year. I've learned my lesson. Maybe I'm a little bit jaded and overcorrecting, but let Baker Mayfield cook. Keep Atlanta behind the sticks, whether it's stuffing runs early and putting them in 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 9, or it's getting sacks. Make Penix have to throw the ball deep down the field. Don't give him easy completions. Keep him behind the sticks and keep pressure on him. Make it, when you have a young quarterback, you've already heard me say this multiple times in other games. You're probably going to hear me say it as it goes on. When you have a young quarterback, you need to make it as difficult as possible on them. Veteran quarterbacks, usually easier at disseminating information and figuring some of this stuff out. Younger quarterbacks, especially one with as few starts as Michael Penix, maybe won't have that same success. And I think that out of all 4 position groups here, both teams' offenses and defenses, I trust the Buccaneers' offense the most. I think this game could be close. I think these are still the 2 best teams in the division. But I trust the Bucs offense the most, and I trust the Falcons defense the least. And because of that, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers to win this game. Into the 4 o'clock slate on Sunday in Seattle. The Seahawks hosting the 49ers. Top 5 game of the week. The two team, two teams that are looking to make the playoffs, return to the playoffs after missing last year. San Francisco was a 2.5-point favorite on the road. What are some keys to victory? The Seahawks need to run the ball well, keep San Francisco's offense off the field, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, make it easier on Sam Darnold. I'm not buying Sam Darnold again, but again, if you want to get Sam Darnold comfortable, like I said here, Minnesota ran the ball really well last year to set up their passing attack. I think Seattle needs to do the same thing. You have Kenneth Walker, you have Zach Charbonnet. Run the ball with them, get Darnold comfortable. Because personally, I don't know if I buy it. I think Sam Darnold is much closer to the quarterback that he was at the end of last year than he was at the beginning. And then you need to stop San Francisco's run game. Don't let Christian McCaffrey beat you. Pretty obvious stuff. San Francisco, well, they want to give it to McCaffrey. He was hurt last year, and it hurt that offense. A lot of guys on that offense were hurt. A lot of guys on defense were hurt. That's why they struggled in the way they did, in my opinion. Give it to McCaffrey. Let McCaffrey eat. See if he can go out there and win you the game. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk is out to start the year. Deebo Samuel is traded. Who's the new wide receiver one? Is it Pearsall? Is it Jawan Jennings? Who is it? Who can Brock Purdy trust to get the ball to? Once you figure that out, feed them. I still think San Francisco, while they don't have an elite wide receiver one, they do have some good pieces at receiver to help Brock Purdy. And if they're able to run the ball first with McCaffrey anyway, that's what they want to do, and it will make it easier to throw the ball. And the defense needs to find its form. I know that they dealt with some injuries last year, but I don't think that defense was as good as they were supposed to be, as good as they expect to be. They need to return to form here. In this game one opportunity is a chance to do exactly that. I like the 49ers. I trust Kyle Shanahan. I think the 49ers have a little bit more talent in their team, and I think the 49ers are looking at this year as their revenge tour after not making the playoffs last year when they made the Super Bowl the year before. Give me San Fran. Sunday in Denver, 7.5-point favorites are the Broncos at home against the Titans, and you could argue it could be more. I'll go ahead and spoil it. I like Denver to win this game, and I like them. Don't think it's going to be all that close, particularly close. I think the Broncos win this one easily. Run the ball to set up pass. That's what Sean Payton wants to do. That's what the Broncos want to do. You have a couple running backs. You have a depth chart, but I think at least two, maybe even three. All three of them will get some time until one of them just takes the job and runs with it. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball if you're the Broncos. And then pressure Cam Ward and his receivers, his points 2 and 3. This is a young Tennessee team, new quarterback, obviously number 1 overall pick, new head coach, all of this stuff. Pressure. The quarterback, get up. You got arguably the best corner in the game in Patrick Surtain. He needs to be up pressing Calvin Ridley, pressing whatever receiver you want him on. Take away Cam Ward's early, easy throws, and then let your pass rush eat. And I think it could be a very long day for the Tennessee offense, especially if Denver is able to consistently run the ball and keep that defense rested so they can pressure them. If you're Tennessee, keep it simple for Ward. You don't need him to be out there doing a whole bunch of complicated stuff. It's his first NFL start. It's on the road against a very good defense. Keep it simple. Get him comfortable. And defensively, make the Broncos air it out. I still think, and this is going to be a theme, I still think a lot of quarterbacks, when they have a really good rookie season, there's usually a sophomore slump coming, similar to CJ Stroud. I think it's going to happen with Jane Daniels. I think it's very strong possibility it happens with Bo Nix, and so forth and so on. So I still, if I'm the Titans, I don't want them to just run the ball all over me. I want to make Bo Nix beat me, make the Broncos air it out. I don't know if they trust their secondary enough to do that, but I think if the better teams when they're playing Denver are going to make Bo Nix beat you and take away the run game, that's what I would do. And then if you're Tennessee, you're just trying to figure out who the future pieces are. Who do you trust to protect Cam Ward? What receivers, what skill position guys do you trust? Figure out who's going to be the future and who are the building blocks on this team going forward. Obviously, like I said, I have Denver winning big in this one. Sunday, 425, top 5 game of the week, division rivalry that got a lot more interesting last week when Micah Parsons got traded to the Packers. Packers are 2.5-point favorites at home against the Lions, the team that has won the division, I believe, the last 2 years. I know that for a fact they won it last year. Against the Packers, a team with a young quarterback that's trying to make another playoff run. Something they were not able to do last year. Packers versus Lions. This is a tight one. Let's get into keys to the game. Detroit Lions. I guess I flipped them here. Detroit Lions. Use your abundance of weapons. They have so many weapons on the offensive end. Everybody has seen what this offense can do when it's clicking. You got Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Jameson Williams. You got Sam Laporta. Use them. Make the Packers cover you all over the field. Make them cover you sideline to sideline. Make it as hard as you possibly can on that defense. This defense had a lot of injuries last year. Defense needs to get used to game speed again. Yeah, you can play in the preseason practice. Nothing beats the regular season in the NFL. Nothing can prepare you for that. Get them back out there, and this defense is going to have to perform well. A lot of people think it should be good. I know you lost both coordinators, but you still have a lot of the same talent that you did when they were really good. Get defense used to that game speed. Get them up to speed. Make it difficult on Jordan Love. And figure out that identity. Again, you lost both coordinators. Are you going to be the same type of offensive team, the same type of defensive team? Are you changing strategies a little bit? You still have all the talent on both ends. Just, do you have your identity figured out, and are you ready to implement it in a live regular season game? For the Lions. For the Packers, keep Jordan Love upright. The Lions have some pass rushers that can get to the quarterback. Jordan Love wasn't healthy last year. That's part of what hurt their season. Keep him upright early, and I think that this offense could click. Who's the go-to receiver? They obviously drafted Matthew Golden. They still have guys like Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs. I'm missing the fourth one. And I don't see it written down for some reason. But they have a group of receivers. Somebody needs to emerge as the go-to guy. They need to find out whose role is what. Who's the slot guy? Who's the deep threat? Who's just the all-around, I can do it all, number one guy? That's going to help make Jordan Love's life easier. And I know Parsons is hurt. He's still supposed to play through injury. Let Parsons be Parsons. You just got one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Let Parsons get after the quarterback. Let him do what he's going to do, and I think it makes this Packers defense significantly better. Well, in terms of who wins this game, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I don't want to overreact to Micah Parsons, but I do think it makes the Packers a really good team, and the Packers are at home. I know a lot of people are saying it's going to be a Lions down year, and that the Lions lost both of their coordinators. I think this early in the season, maybe the Lions don't have their identity figured out. I don't care. I think the Lions still have a lot of the same talent that made them a Super Bowl contender. I think the Lions come out and show everybody, hey, don't doubt us. I think the Lions win a very close, very fun game between two of the league's absolute best teams. The last Sunday afternoon 4:25 game, the Rams hosting the Texans, two playoff teams from last year. It's another top 5 game of the week. Make sure you're out there to watch it. Rams are 2.5-point favorites. Keys to the game: make sure Stafford stays healthy. It's been very well documented how that Stafford has been battling an injury all offseason. Some people think he even died and they cloned him. Maybe that actually happened. I don't know. But seems unlikely, obviously. But make sure Stafford stays healthy. You need him if you're going to win. Without Stafford, I don't know if this Rams team even makes the playoffs. Is Davante Adams still Davante Adams? He kind of got rid of Cooper Kupp, bought in Davante Adams. Is Davante Adams Packers Davante Adams? Is he Raiders Davante Adams? Or is he just Davante Adams? I think that's going to go a long way. You obviously have Puka Nacua on the other side, but you need Davante Adams to still, maybe even if he's not elite, still be a good wide receiver. And you'd have a great 1-2 punch for your quarterback, assuming he stays healthy. And win the trenches. This Houston team struggled on the offensive line last year, but the defensive line is really, really good. You need to win that trench game. If you can keep C.J. Stroud under pressure, then he might start getting the flashbacks to last season when he was constantly running around trying to not get hit. And if you can keep this Texans elite pass rush off of your quarterback with the weapons, I think that Matthew Stafford, he's not going to see something that scares him. It's just keeping guys off him, and I think Stafford can win you this game. The Texans protect Stroud better. That's number one. You think you got your franchise quarterback, and he was under way too much pressure last year. Keep Stroud upright. Protect him way better than you did last year, and I think it's going to help this offense a ton. Get the pass rush going again. They were one of the best pass rushes in the NFL last year. You got to get that pass rush going again. Again, Stafford's already hurt. They don't want him taking hits. I think that could change their game plan if they're consistently getting pressure. And I think if you're the Texans, you want to keep the game slow. Run the ball well. That's going to help protect C.J. Stroud. But just slow it down. Eat up a whole bunch of time. Have a high time of possession. Keep the Rams' offense off the field. And then all your pass rushers can't get tired, and it makes it easier to rush the quarterback. I think, again, another good game, another close game. I don't know if I trust the Texans this year as much as they did last year. I don't know if they did enough on the offensive line. I don't know. I think that there has to be regression coming for some of their players. I'm still a little bit worried about the receiving room outside of Nico Collins. Who knows? I think the Rams are just a little bit more. I trust the Rams a little bit more, and they're at home. Give me the Rams to beat the Texans in a close game here. Sunday night football between two of the best teams in the NFL. Another top 5 game of the week. This isn't just the top 5 game of the week. This is the game of the week. The Bills and the Ravens, a rematch in Buffalo of that playoff game last year where the Ravens almost took it to overtime. Mark Andrews with that infamous drop on the 2-point conversion where it looks like he had a walk-in conversion. Who wins the rematch between the Bills and the Ravens? Again, Bills only 1.5-point favorite at home, and I think that tells you a lot about this Ravens team. Keys to the game. Let Josh Allen be Josh Allen. Won the MVP last year, and again, to a lot of Ravens fans' disgust, they got a guy over there that is just as good, maybe even better, who they think should have won the MVP. But let Josh Allen be Josh Allen. Historically, he's been very much a gunslinger. He turned the ball over a lot. Last year, really cut down on those turnovers. Josh Allen can run it. He's a larger guy, so he's not afraid to put his shoulder down. Josh Allen has all the arm strength in the world. Let him rip it. Let Josh Allen be Josh Allen and be great. Run the dang ball. As much as you love Josh Allen, this Ravens defense is good, and they got a lot of guys all over the place. You want to let Allen be Allen, but you also don't want Josh Allen to take too many hits early in the year. You got to be able to run the ball. If you're one-dimensional against this Ravens defense, you're not going to have a good day on offense. You have to be able to run the ball and throw the ball, but the run game is the thing that's important. And contain Lamar Jackson in the run game. They want to run the ball with Derrick Henry. They did a pretty good job of it last year. And you have Lamar Jackson, who might be the best mobile quarterback in the NFL. You have to contain it. Similar to what I was talking about with the Giants trying to contain Jayden Daniels. Here's the thing. Lamar Jackson, he can just drop back and beat you in the pocket. But he can also beat you with his legs. I think you have to contain Lamar. You have to have a disciplined rush attack. Again, converging on the quarterback at once so he doesn't have an escape route. And you have to stop Derrick Henry. Make the Ravens beat you with the pass game, which sounds crazy because they have a decent pass game. But I think between the pass game and the run game, you'd rather the Ravens be throwing the ball than running the ball with how physical of a team they are. If you're the Ravens, run the ball right at them. I run the ball right down the Bills' throat and say, we're tougher, we're bigger, we're more physical, which is the Bills team is pretty big and physical, but I think you need to run the ball at them early and often, set up that pass game, set up that play action game, and keep their offense off the field. When you run the ball well, you can just take time off the clock. Tick, 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 tick. The other team's offense has to stay off the field. What's the best way to prevent Josh Allen from having a good day? Can't score if he's not on the field. Run the ball right at the Bills. Speed Allen up. Again, last year, Josh Allen had way down turnovers, but historically he's liable to turn the ball over a lot, especially if you make him speed up and rush him. I think that's the only way you can force some of those turnovers. So disciplined rushing, kind of similar to what I said for the Bills to do. Ravens have a lot of really good pass rushers. It looks like they got a absolute steal with Mr. Mike Green. You already know the pass rushing pieces they had. If you're the Ravens, you need to successfully speed Allen up. Just get into the pocket, make him throw the ball harder than he wants, and I think he can still sometimes be a little bit mistake prone when doing that. If you have success rushing the passer, success keeping Allen inside the pocket where he can't use his legs, I think that is your key to success. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I think this Ravens team might be a little bit deeper. I trust their defense a little bit more. I think these offenses are both pretty darn good. And I think the Ravens win this game, just like they went into Kansas City and spoiled or almost went into Kansas City and spoiled the Super Bowl celebration, I guess I should say. I don't think this Ravens team wants to start off with a loss again. I think Baltimore gets revenge against Buffalo, and a game that could be very important when determining the 1 seed in the AFC playoff picture. Give me the Ravens to upset the Bills on the road. And the last game of the first week, Monday Night Football in Chicago. Chicago, 1.5-point underdogs to the Vikings, even though they're at home in prime time at Soldier Field in Chicago. NFC North, you usually, it's quite frequent where you play a division rival week 1. Here you go. This whole division is playing each other. Who do I like to win this game? Let's get into the keys first before I say anything. If you're the Bears, you need to block well. Just good blocking, both in the run game and the pass game. I think that's part of what really bogged down this offense. Sometimes you have a young quarterback. They're a little bit more dancy. They're going to make a couple more mistakes. Good blocking up front. Keep Caleb Williams upright. Get the run game going to take pressure off him. Just good blocking all around will go a long way for this Bears. I think this Bears defense could also be pretty darn good. The defensive front pressure. Remember who the Vikings are starting at quarterback. Okay? If the Bears are able to consistently get pressure, I think it could be a very, very long day. Listen, J.J. McCarthy had a great college career, won a national championship. I don't know. In his draft class last year, he was not one of my favorite guys. I think the Vikings picked him too early. I could be completely wrong on that. But he didn't play a game last year because he got hurt in the preseason, obviously. So really, McCarthy's, in a sense, really a rookie this year, making his first NFL start. Get pressure on him, make him see ghosts, and I think this Bears defense is more than capable of doing that. And I think they can make it a long day on McCarthy. Just nobody knows what J.J. McCarthy is going to look like. And part of the good blocking, keep Williams comfortable. The Bears have plenty of offensive weapons, but you have to give Caleb Williams enough time to find them, give Caleb Williams enough time to use them. He's your number 1 overall pick. He's supposed to be your franchise QB. Maybe not. Maybe let's keep him upright. And for the Vikings, get McCarthy settled in. This is his first NFL regular season start. Don't make it too complicated. Don't put the whole game on his shoulders. Maybe he can, and sometimes rookies are okay with that, but I don't think that's ever plan A. How do you do that? Run the ball well. They had a good run attack last year. This Vikings team wants to run the ball first, and they want to use the run game to set up play action. I think successfully running the ball makes it a lot easier on J.J. McCarthy. And then the Vikings defense was pretty good last year. Make the Bears one-dimensional. Do you think Caleb Williams can beat you in the pass game? If so, just take away the pass game and make them beat you running the ball. If you think that them running the ball opens up too much of their offense, well, then make Caleb Williams beat you with the pass. I think if you make this Bears offense one-dimensional, it gets exponentially harder for them to move the ball. I think they need the run game and they need the pass game. Some teams can win being one-dimensional. I don't think the Bears are one of those teams quite yet. I think the Vikings need to find a way to take away something from the Bears. Who do I think wins this game? Vikings are favorited. I kind of understand why they have a lot. I mean, obviously, you still have Justin Jefferson. You still have that pretty good defense from last year. You still have Aaron Jones. I don't know if I trust J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if I trust Caleb Williams in the long term either, but I certainly trust Caleb Williams a little bit more than JJ McCarthy with the situation we have. The Bears are at home. The Bears are expecting to be in the playoff, at least in playoff contention this year. I actually think the Bears get the upset, as funny as it is with them being at home. I'm going to pick the Bears here, and that's my third upset pick as the betting line goes. It might be my fourth, actually. Yes, Monday Night Football. I think we see a Chicago Bears win. Weekly records and season goal. Now, I already have all of it out here. You guys probably remember this screen if you tuned in last year. Last season, my goal, you guys gave me the goal of a 70% win-loss rate. And I went 192-80, which is good for 70.59. I literally got it, I think, by 1 or 2 games in Week 18 because I kind of struggled in the middle part of the schedule. This season, I've already set my new goal. I was going to say, let's get to 200 wins. But then I did the math and realized 204 wins is a 75% win-loss record. 3 out of every 4 games I'm picking right. I said, what's 4 more games? So I went ahead and my goal is to predict 12 more games correctly this year for a win-loss record of 204, and that should be in 68. NFL does not play 282 games. They play 272. That would give me a winning percentage of 75%. As you can see, 18 weeks here. I have my overall record. We haven't played any games, so I can't give you anything, but this is the screen that we're going to be tracking everything with. Put down in the comments below whether you think I can make the 12-game improvement from last year. Here you go. As always, here is my summary. Something new that I am adding. I am adding a lock of the week every week, the game that I am 100% confident is going to happen. Now, here's the thing. It's kind of going to turn into a survivor pool because the team that I choose for my lock of the week, I'm not allowed to choose again. So I'm going to have to pick 18 different teams over the course of 18 weeks. And I'm going to use a pretty good one early here with the Broncos. But out of all the teams this week, I think the Broncos are going to win this game. I have them. I'm most confident in the Broncos winning. And also, I do have a late flop here. I'm flipping to the Packers over the Lions. I don't know. That's really a toss-up. I really, really, really want to pick the Lions. I just think that the Packers being at home is going to be the advantage. So I have a late flip here. Sorry to all you Lions fans and Packers fans. I hope you're happy with me. Everything else here should be the same as what I already explained. Here's a summary of my official picks that we will be using to calculate my record. Again, and my lock of the week is the Broncos this week. Here's something I'm not going to do every week. I might not do it again the rest of the season. I might do it for the playoffs. I'm going to go through quarterback rankings and give you some power rankings. I even have them in tier list. It's the beginning of the season. People love ranking quarterbacks. So I figured, why not go ahead and do it? And when I was doing this, I realized that there's a lot of quarterbacks that I would trust to lead a team, even if they aren't all elite. Put in the comments below your rankings. Tell me if you think I'm on basis. Tell me if you think I'm an idiot for my quarterback rankings. I'm sure everybody that chooses to comment will be rational. I look forward to seeing it. Without further ado, no change in my top 4, really, as everybody else's. Patrick Mahomes, number 1. I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are 2 and 3, and I think it's almost a tie. I have had Lamar Jackson higher, but if Josh Allen can continue this new thing he's doing where he just doesn't turn the ball over, as much as he historically has, I think I give him a slight edge over Lamar. Both incredibly good quarterbacks. And then Joe Burrow, I think, is 4. I think there's a slight gap between Burrow and the guys in front of him, but I also think there's an even larger gap between 4 and 5. The AFC, in my mind, has the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I won't accept any other list. Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl. Don't think you can have him, any of these other guys really ahead of him. He performed well. Yeah, so what that he has a lot of weapons and has a great defense and offensive line. He still has to perform in that situation, and he does. He won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, I don't really love anybody at 5, but and if you don't love anybody, I'm going to go on the guy that's proven that he can win Super Bowls, and he's made 2 of the last 3. This is where it gets interesting. 6, 7, and 8 were kind of a toss-up. Baker Mayfield had an incredible year last year. Historically, I would not have Baker Mayfield anywhere near my top 10, but Baker just had a phenomenal year last year. He's resurrected his career with the Buccaneers. I'll go ahead and put him at 6. Matthew Stafford, I'm going to put at 7. Again, Super Bowl winning pedigree. Historically, he's always been really good. I still think he has quite a couple years left in the tank. Putting Matthew Stafford at 7. I know everybody's going to be mad at me. Why do you have Jayden Daniels at 8? He was really, really good last year. I'm not going to take 1 year of quarterbacking. If you do that, things can you can set yourself up for failure. He's in the top 10 for a reason, right? He was really, really good last year, but I'm not going to take just 1 year. He does it again. We could be talking a top 5 quarterback. I also believe that sophomore slumps are a real thing, and I think Jayden Daniels has one this season. But 8 is still a really good ranking. You can still win the Super Bowl with the 8th best quarterback in the NFL. Jared Goff kind of crumbled in the playoffs last year. Maybe it was injuries. Maybe it was Jared Goff being Jared Goff. I'm still going to give him 9, but just know that I view 9 through 13 as a virtual tie on this list. I think all 9 through 13 on this list are all good quarterbacks, can all lead you to wins, can all lead you to the playoffs, and with a good support staff can make a run. I really think they're all similar. While they get it done differently, are all a similar level of talent. So if you're a fan of Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, or Jordan Love, who are my 9th through 13th ranked quarterbacks, in order for those of you who are listening, all of them are really the same to me. All are borderline top 10 quarterbacks. Some of them have health concerns, and when they're healthy, they're really good. Some of them don't have health concerns, but I view all those guys in a very similar vein, and I would trust all of them to be the quarterback of my team. All of them still need to win the big game, though. Brock Purdy at 14, he can move up, he can go down. I think Brock Purdy, you trust him to lead your team, but he's also not an elite level guy. He's kind of similar to the guys in front of him. Bo Nix, top half of the quarterbacks, had a great year last year, especially for a rookie. I think he could have a sophomore slump incoming. Aaron Rodgers at 16, historically he's top 3, played better towards the end of last year. Maybe Aaron Rodgers just looking to resurrect his career. Kyler Murray feels disrespectful to have him at 17, but the middle of this list gets really, really difficult. Kyler Murray could absolutely finish higher on this list, but for right now, I'm putting him at 17. Dak Prescott out with injury last year, but he still has pretty good numbers when he does play. Still needs to win the big game. Trevor Lawrence, up and down and up and down and up and down. I still think he's a top 20 quarterback. I put him at 19. And then I have a group of 3 young guys. Drake May at 20th, Caleb Williams 21st, Bryce Young 22. I think all of them have the potential to have breakout years, both as a team and individually. I think all 3 of those guys, I don't think they will, but I think I could see a route where they do make a playoff run. I think all of them are getting better and better. I like Drake May's ceiling better than I like the other 2 ceilings. We'll see what happens moving forward. 23 is Geno Smith, 24 is Russell Wilson, 25 is Justin Fields, and 26 is Sam Darnold. All 4 of those guys on different teams this year, all of them looking to prove something, right? If not resurrect their careers, then prove that they still have some left on the tank. I don't know how much I trust any of those 4 guys to do it, but they're serviceable. Maybe a backup, maybe gets past. They're not super long-term solutions in any of their cases. Justin Fields is the one that's closest to it because of his age. But all 4 of those guys are fighting to prove that they are starting quarterbacks in this league with a new team. And then Michael Penix, 27, just haven't seen a lot from him. What I've seen from him has been mixed. He obviously has the arm talent to be much higher on this list. Joe Flacco at 28 was in the playoffs 2 years ago and looked pretty good. As quarterback of the Colts last year at times. Cam Ward at 29, he's a true rookie making his first career start. J.J. McCarthy, not a true rookie, is making his first career start. We just don't know what they are. Obviously, they have talent or they wouldn't have been drafted in the first round. But we still don't know exactly what they are. And then Daniel Jones and Spencer Rattler, for understandable reasons, are 31st and 32nd. If you want to see it, I use my friend Tiermaker. Again, your best quarterbacks, your franchise faces, it's kind of the same rankings. I just put them in the actual categories, are your top 5, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Jalen Hurts. In the elite category, now, let me qualify this. The elite category are guys that I think can play elite, are elite when they're at their best, but whether it's injuries or inconsistent play, they do have some games where they don't play elite. If you play every single game elite, or I would probably have you as franchise faces. But these guys always have maybe 1 or 2 games throughout the year, or maybe they get hurt and aren't reliable at Tua, at Jordan Love. But my elite class, my elite to, I guess, 1B class, Baker Mayfield, Max Stafford, Jane Daniels, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jordan Love. These are not necessarily in order. Good quarterbacks that can lead a team: Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, and Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to let you down. May not have the super high peaks, but hopefully you don't have super low valleys. Young guys showing flashes that are trying to prove themselves, or slash trying to prove themselves. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, and Trevor Lawrence. Attempting to find new life: Geno Smith, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. And bad quarterbacks, or they're in a bad situation that I think is going to make it hard on them: Joe Flacco, Cam Ward, Daniel Jones, and Spencer Rattler. We're going to go do the same practice with the teams. All right. I'm just going to read through my 1 through 32 list here. Number 1, Eagles. They just won the Super Bowl. I still think they're incredibly good. I think the Ravens are the number 2, Bills number 3, Chiefs number 4, Lions number 5, Packers number 6, Commanders number 7, Bucks number 8, Texans number 9. Rounding out the top 10, the Rams. I think the AFC has more absolute top-tier Super Bowl contenders. I think the NFC has more of that second tier of surefire playoff team contenders. Number 11, Chargers. 12, Broncos. 13, Niners. 14, Bengals. 15, Dolphins. 16, Steelers. 17, Vikings. 18, Cardinals. 19, Seahawks. 20, Jaguars. I honestly can see somewhat reasonable routes for anybody in that 11 through 20 range to make the playoffs. And then 21, Bears. 22, Falcons. 23, Cowboys. 24, Patriots. 25, Jets. 26, Raiders. 27, Colts. 28, Panthers. 29, Browns. 30, Giants. 31, Titans. 32, Saints. If you can't see it and you're listening, you don't have to memorize that, obviously. But 1 through 32, that's how I see the teams stacked up to start the season. And here's my tier list for that. My Super Bowl favorite tier: Ravens, Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Lions. Elite should be playoff locks, but there is still a small percentage they miss: Packers, Buccaneers, Commanders, Rams, Chargers, Texans. And then the Broncos, I have them teetering between my second and my third tier. I think one day I wake up and I think they're a second tier team. One day I wake up and think they're a third tier team. So I kind of have that's why I have the Broncos last there. I think they're in between these. And I think if the Texans were in a better division, I would have them in the tier below as well, but they're in a bad division. Anyway, my third tier is borderline playoff teams that could turn into elite teams again once more, or they could also be bad again. That tier is the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Vikings. Close teams that I think are trying to compete for the playoffs that are going to be close but no cigar. They're just not quite as good as the teams above them: Seahawks, Cardinals, Jaguars. Teams that probably aren't going to make the playoffs but maybe can. But really the big thing here is young quarterback swag. They're really looking at the young quarterback, and they want to use this year as the leaping off point: Patriots, Falcons, and Bears. This is my favorite tier, arguably. Trying to compete, but for what? Because they're probably not. Cowboys, Raiders, Colts, and Jets. Not this year. Trying to compete, not going to happen this year. Probably going to end up with a top 10 pick. And then top 5 pick again: Panthers, Titans, Saints, Browns, and Giants. Those are my NFL tiers this year. Again, for both quarterbacks and NFL team rankings, let me know in the comments how you rank the teams, how you would rank them in these tiers, or any other fun opinions that you may have. Share them respectfully or disrespectfully if you really want to. Just be nice to each other. I just want to see the comments filled up on this episode. Thank you guys for taking time out of your days, your weeks, and your lives for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Come follow me on X. I'm trying to put more and more content out there. I'm trying to be more active on X because I know that I'm not always. Guys, don't do anything this weekend. You got NFL games on Thursday and Friday, a great Saturday slate of college football, followed by the opening Sunday of the NFL season. Do not do anything. Go to your couch. Go to where you want to watch games. Sit there all day and watch some dang games. MLB playoffs are coming up. You guys know I'm a NASCAR guy. I have a NASCAR weekly series with an episode coming out later this week. NASCAR playoffs are here. Maybe you need to go watch my NASCAR playoffs episodes, my NASCAR weekly episodes. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it'll get you caught up and updated. Again, thank you for taking time out of your days, weeks, and lives. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Stay safe out there. Peace out.